I've reached the land of corn and wine, and all its riches freely mine. Here shines a dim, one blissful day, for all my night has passed away. Oh, Beulah land, sweet Beulah land, as on the highest mount I stand, I look away across the sea, where mansions are prepared for me, and view the shining glory shore. I have my home forevermore. My Savior comes and walks with me, and sweet communion here have we. He gently leads me by his hand, for this is heaven's borderland. Oh, Beulah land, sweet Beulah land, as on the highest mount I stand, I look away across the sea, where mansions are prepared for me, and view the shining glory shore. I have my home forevermore. A sweet perfume upon the breeze is born from ever vernal trees, and flowers that never fading grow, where streams of life forever flow. Oh, Beulah land, sweet Beulah land, as on the highest mount I stand, I look away across the sea, where mansions are prepared for me, and view the shining glory shore. I have my home forevermore. The zephyrs seem to float to me, sweet sounds of heaven's melody, as angels with a white robe throng join in the sweet redemption song. Oh, Beulah land, sweet Beulah land, as on the highest mount I stand, I look away across the sea, where mansions are prepared for me, and view the shining glory shore. I have my home forevermore. In loving kindness Jesus came, my soul in mercy to reclaim, and from the depths of sin and shame, through grace he lifted me. From sinking sand he lifted me, with tender hand he lifted me, from shades of night to plains of light. Oh, praise his name, he lifted me. He called me long before I heard, before my sinful heart was stirred. But when I took him at his word, forgive me, lifted me. From sinking sand he lifted me, with tender hand he lifted me, from shades of night to plains of light. Oh, praise his name, he lifted me. His brow was pierced with many a thorn, his hands by cruel nails were torn. When from my guilt and grief forlorn, in love he lifted me, From sinking sand he lifted me, with tender hand he lifted me, from shades of night how or why, I cannot tell. He should have lifted me from sinking sand. He lifted me with tender hand. He lifted me from shades of night to plains of light. Oh, praise His name. He lifted me.
Magandang gabi mga kapatid. Ito po ay isang oras na maganda para sa atin. Dahil ito po yung oras na gugulin natin para pag-aralan po natin ng isang bahagi ng mga banal na kasulatan. Lalo po sa panahon na kasalukuyan na sunod-sunod po ang mga earthquake, yung lindol, sa Bisaya, linog, sunod-sunod, nakakabigla, kung totoo siya. Pero, kung minsan, itong mga bagay na nangyayari na ito ay ginagamit natin o naunawaan natin sa maling paraan. So, ito po ang ating gustong pag-aralan. We will study tonight if what the other says is true or not. That because there's earthquakes, frequent earthquakes, that the end is near. Yun po ay ating titignan ngayon. Totoo kaya yan? Is that true? That the end is near? So sa ating mga kakabsat, JT Luzon, dumaduma mga lugar, na ibang garabi, kada kayo amin kakabsat. Sa ating mga kaigsuunan, sa mga laylay mga tapit, may gabi sa yung tanan na igsuon, sa ating mga kabugtuan dyan sa may Moray sa Leyte, Samar area, maupay nga gabi, kabugtuan kan Kristo. Doon po sa mga kapatid sa Bicol Region, Diyos marahin na banggi sa Dugabos. Dito sa Pangasinan, masanto siya labi, at sa kayo namin. Dito po sa may pabengi kayo nga. Sa Indonesian, salamat malam. Sa Malaysia, salamat petang. Lang alam ko, wala na akong ibang alam, mga kapatid. Hindi mainit po sa oras na ito. Kahit na nakasindi yung mga mainit pa rin. So, punta po tayo sa ating pag-umusapan sa gabing ito, tonight. So, is the end of the world near? That's the question we'd like to ask. Why are we asking this question? Bakit natin tinatanong ang tanong na ito? Because of the certain, yung iba pong recent earthquakes. For instance, in the Philippines, there are several earthquakes, one after the other. October 5, 2025, magnitude 4.8, Corimao, Ilocos Norte. Magnitude 4.4, Pugula Union, October 9, 2025. Magnitude 5.0, Cabangan, Zambales, September 11, 2025. Magnitude 6.9, Bogo City, Cebu, September 20, 2025. Magnitude 4.1, Silago, Southern Leyte, October 11, 2025. Magnitude 4, Burgos, Surigao del Sur. Dito po sa Caguait, Surigao del Sur, magnitude 6.2. Magnitude 5.9, Manay, Davao Oriental, October 10. Magnitude 6.7, Manay, Davao Oriental, October 10, 2025. Magnitude 5.5, Manay, Davao Oriental, October 11, 2025. Magnitude 4.5, Maitom, Sarangani, October 12, 2025. And magnitude 7.4, Manay, Davao Oriental. So, ang earthquakes, one after the other. So, yun po, iniisip nila that this might be a sign that the end is near. Dito sa Russia, doon sa Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, kung tama po yung ating pronunciation. Ulitin natin. Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. Magnitude 8.7 earthquake. And there was a warning for tsunami all the way to the U.S., west coast of the U.S. So makita natin. And then, magnitude 6.6, Morobe Province, Papua New Guinea, October 7, 2025. Kasabay nung sa Bogo City, I think. October 7, sa Papua New Guinea. So earthquakes all around the world, one after the other. Some people say this is a sign that the end is near. So it's a question. Are these frequent earthquakes, one after the other, the signs that the end is near? According to some people, this is a fulfillment of Matthew 24 verse 7. Ayon po sa mga ibang tao, ito raw po ay katuparan na sinabi ng Panginoon sa Mateo chapter 24 verse 7. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. So nabanggit po rito, there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. Ngayon, nakikita natin, sabay-sabay po yung mga sabay-sabay yung mga earthquakes. So sabi nila, so they said, this is a fulfillment of what Jesus said in Matthew 24 verse 7. Tama kaya totoo kaya yun, mga kapatid? Is that true? Tingnan po natin na sinasabi ng iba. This is in 2010 when there was a strong earthquake in Japan. Tim LaHaye, or Tim LaHaye, whatever is the pronunciation, in commenting on the Japanese earthquake, Tim LaHaye says, the Bible tells us in Matthew 24 that one of the signs of the last days, one of the birth pangs to occur, is an increase in earthquake activity and intensity. We're seeing that happen here. It's not just earthquakes, but hurricanes and all kinds of natural disasters. So ayon po kay Tim LaHaye, o Tim LaHaye, yung pong pagkakaroon ng mga kalamidad and earthquakes na mas madami at mas malakas is one of the signs of the last days, according to Tim LaHaye. Ngayon din po kay Hal Lindsey sa kanyang aklat na In the Promise. And we quote, Jesus warned that earthquakes would increase in frequency and intensity as this old earth prepared for its final cataclysm. Doon po sa page 198 ng libro ni Hal Lindsey, In the Promise. It says that this piece of the prophetic jigsaw puzzle is supposed to be taking place in our day. So sa kasalukuyang panahon daw, darating yang katapusan na yan dahil sa mga malimit at malalakas na lindol. Doon sa aklat in his book, Goodbye Planet Earth in 1976, Seventh-day Adventist author Robert A. Spurgeon as a subheading, a shaking, quaking planet. Under it says, with increasing frequency and intensity, Mother Earth has been shaking and quaking. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives. Multiplied, thousands more will perish in greater earth spasms ahead. Never since the days of Noah has the world been so badly battered. Again, God speaking to us is seeking to tell us that our time is short. So dito po sa mga binasa natin, maliwanag na makikita natin that this frequent and increasing intensity of earthquakes is a sign that the end is near. Ito raw po ay tanda na malapit na ang katapusan ng sanglibutan. And also, dito sa Matthew 24 verse 6, and you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So bago darating daw yung katapusan, ay magkakaroon po ng mga digmaan at mga alingaw-ngaw ng digmaan. So, tignan ninyo ang kasalukuyan nangyayari. There are wars in Ukraine, Middle East, between India and Pakistan, and the brewing and threat of war in the South China Sea, and the impending invasion of Taiwan by China, which will polarize nations for and against China, which may lead to a major war. So tingnan ninyo kanya. Yung sinasabing you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, kasama yan pag malapit na po yung katapusan ng sanglibutan. Ito'y ayon, this is according to those who believe these things. Pero what does the Bible teach? Ito ba itinuturo ng Biblia? Na pagka malapit na, dumadami ng earthquakes, etc., kalamidad, at may mga digmaan, malapit na ba ang katapusan ng sanlibutan? What is the truth of the matter? Ano bang katotohanan ito? Yun ang ating gustong malaman. Doon po sa Matthew 24, it's very controversial. There are three views. Meron tatlong pananaw sa Matthew chapter 24. First, the futuristic view. All of Matthew 24 will happen in the future, and it deals with the doctrine of premillennialism, and it includes the end of the world. Yung daw po Matthew 24, ito po hindi pa nangyayari. Anumang bagay, doon sa nakasulat. Doon sa Matthew 24, hindi pa nangyayari yan. Kaya futuristic view. So lahat po na nakasulat doon, sa lahat ng kabanata ng Matthew 24, hindi pa nangyayari yan. Then there's the preterist view. Preterist means past. Doon po sa if you are studying Spanish, preterito indefinido o preterito imperfecto. A perfect past tense, past perfect tense, o simple past tense. Yung preterito indefinido o preterito imperfecto. Preterist means past. Tapos na. Mayroong ganon, preterist view. All of Matthew 24 as all happened, and it deals with the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem AD 70. It doesn't deal with the end of the world. Sa iba naman, baliktad. Tapos na lahat yan, ganyan. Walang kaugnayan sa katapusan ng sanglibutan. I do not agree with the futuristic view or the preterist view. The biblical view, ito yung ating pag-aaralan, contextually, Matthew 24 deals with two basic events. Destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, which was fulfilled in AD 70, and the final coming of the Lord. Yung malapit ng pagdating ng ating Panginoon. Wala kong kunin mga kapatid. Yeah. Yun ang aking pinaniniwalaan. At yun ang ating titingnan. We have to deal with this because they use Matthew 24 verse 6, Matthew 24 verse 7, and the other verses in the chapter to prove allegedly that the end is near. Ayan, tingnan po natin, pag-aralan natin. The context of Matthew 24. Sa Matthew 24 verse 1 and 2, the temple in Jerusalem during the time of our Lord Jesus, while he was on the earth, was the Herod's temple. It's a beautiful, magnificent temple. Ito po yung malalaking building at maganda. Maganda yung temple na ito. At ipinagmamalaki ng mga Hudyo. The Jewish people are proud of that temple. Sa Matthew 24 verse 1, then Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came up to show him the buildings of the temple. Pinagmamalaki nila yung gusali ng temple na kanya. And Jesus said to them, do you not see all these things? Hindi ba niyo nakikita ang lahat ng mga bagay na ito? Assuredly, katotohanan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, assuredly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down. Walang bato sa ibabaw ng bato ito na hindi gigiba. Yan ang sabi ng Panginoon. So yan ang pinag-uusapan nila sa simula ng Matthew 24. The beginning of the chapter, the disciples and Jesus were talking about the temple. Jesus said, the temple will be destroyed. Yun ang sinasabi niya . I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another that shall not be thrown down. Na hindi ito babagsak o hindi magigiba. So yun ang uling pinag-uusapan nila. Di ba yan, nakikita yung mga bagay nito kanya? Sinasabi ko sa'yo, walang matitira dyan, sabi ng ating Panginoon. Then, lumipat sila sa Mount of Olives. Ang Mount of Olives, when you are situated at Mount Olives, you can see the temple very clearly. Makikita mo ng maayos yung temple sa Jerusalem. So this is Matthew 24 verse 3. Now as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be?" Pronounce yun. Pronouns. Those are pronouns. What are these things? Yung pinag-uusapan nila sa Matthew 24 verse 2. Yung sinabi ng Panginoon na walang bato sa ibabaw ng bato na hindi magigiba. Yun ang these things be. Kailan mangyayari yun? Ganyan. When will be the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem? Yun yung tinatanong nila doon. Second, what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Why did they ask these things simultaneously? We do not know. Nasasabi nila, tell us, when will these things be? When will be the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem? What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Anong atang katapusan ng sanglibutan? Tatlong tanong yun, di ba? There are three questions. Tell us, when will these things be? What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? So tatlong tanong yun. Hindi isang tanong yun. There are three questions. And so Jesus answered the three questions, one after the other. Yun ang makikita natin yan. So the context is very important. Pagka nakikita natin, the context is very important. Importante yan. Kaya nga, when we study any book of the scriptures or any verse of the scriptures, we need to know the context. Walang pinag-uusapan doon sa lugar na kung saan nakita natin yung talatang yun. So, the first and second questions are related. When will these things be? The destruction of the temple. And the sign of your coming is the judgment of the nation of Israel. Tandaan natin, the temple is the sign that God and Israel have fellowship. Is the sign of the Jewish nation before God. Di ba? Pag nasira yung templo sa Jerusalem, yun yung tanda na sila'y tinakwilan ng Diyos. Related po yung dalawa. And the third question, ang makikita natin. So verses 4 to 14, these are the signs before the actual destruction of the temple. So magkakaroon po ng tanda bago dumating yung pagkasira ng Jerusalem. Therefore, going back to Matthew 24 verse 3 to 4, there are two ends. May dalawang katapusan. O actually three. The destruction of the temple of Jerusalem, the judgment of the end of the nation of Israel as a nation, and the end of the age. Tatlong end yun. There are three ends. Tatlong katapusan. Hindi tumutukoy sa isang katapusan. Now dito po sa verses 4 to 14, ito yung signs bago dumating yung katapusan ng templo sa Jerusalem. So it's a warning. Pag nakikita na niyo ito kanya, malapit na yung katapusan. Hindi pa yun ang katapusan kanya. Malapit na ang katapusan. And Jesus answered. So he's answering the questions. The first question, when will these things be? Kailan mangyayari ang pagkasira ng templo sa Jerusalem? Or the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. When will that be? And Jesus answered and said to them, take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So bago dumating yung end, that is the destruction of Jerusalem, that's the first question, di ba? Yun ang unang tanong. Ito muna ang mangyayari kanya. There will be people who will come in the name of the Lord, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many, and you will hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. And all these things are the beginning of sorrows. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended, will betray one another, and will hate one another. Then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. Magkakaroon daw po ng bulong propeta, dadaya ng marami. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. Magulo na yun eh. Magkakaroon ng kaguluhan sa loob ng templo, sa loob ng Jerusalem. At pansinin po natin, Jerusalem is a walled city. Ito meron sa bakod. Kaya meron gates yan. And because lawlessness will abound, wala na kaayusan, the love of many will grow cold, but he who endures to the end will still be saved. Saved physically from death. Yun yung sinasabi dito. Hindi kaligtas spiritual. Pag ginagamit natin when you use this verse in relation to spiritual salvation, you are using the context out of context. Maliligtas kayo dun sa panganib ng panahon na yun. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. What's the end? What particular end? The end of the temple in Jerusalem, or the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. So tingnan yan ang unang bahaging pagsagot ng Panginoon. So ito yung magiging tanda para sa inyo. Kanya will be the signs before the temple in the Jerusalem will be destroyed. Yan ang sabi ng Panginoon. Tuloy po natin. Sino ang kausap ng Panginoon? Sabi niya, take heed that no one deceives you, not us, them. The people with whom the Lord is talking to. This is second person. Ito yung pangalawang persona. May nagsasalita, meron siyang kausap. Yung pangalawang persona, yun kausap na nagsasalita. So hindi tayo kasali diyan. Hindi tayo kinakausap ng Panginoon. Ang kinakausap niya, yung kanyang mga lagat. Tingnan niyo, ulitin natin. Deceives you, and you will hear of wars. Who will hear wars and rumors of wars? Not us, them. The one with whom Jesus is talking. Yuma, two, Yuma. And so see that you are not troubled. Who will be troubled? Not us, them. With whom the Lord is talking to. Yuma. For all this stuff, to verse 9, then they will deliver you up to tribulation. Not us, them, with whom the Lord is talking to. And kill you, not us. Them, yung kausap ng Panginoon. And you'll be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Not us, them. Kapupukotan din tayo, pero hindi sa talatang ito. Sa talatang ito, ang kausap ng Panginoon, sinasabi niya, ito yung mangyayari kanya. So hindi sa panahon natin ngayon. Sa panahon nila. Ang pinag-uusapan dito. Hindi sa panahon natin. Liwanag po yan. Kaya mahalaga yung grammar ng isang lingwahe. Para maunawaan natin kung anong pinag-uusapan. Di ba? At ito, makikita na, this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world. The context of the world is not the whole world as we know it now. Hindi nila alam ang Pilipinas noon. They do not know of the Philippines. They do not know of the U.S. They do not know of the Americas. They only know about the Roman Empire. So ito'y tumutukoy sa Roman Empire. Yan ang sanglibutan sa panahon na yun. So hindi nila alam ang labas ng Roman Empire. Hindi sila alam doon. As a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Sabi rito, ito'y ginagamit ng premillennialism. Tignan nyo kanya. If you observe, the gospel is being preached in television, radio, in the internet, etc. But that is not the real gospel. That's the adulterated gospel. This is the real gospel. And this gospel of the kingdom, the true gospel, He'll be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Pag naipangaral na po ang Ebanghelyo sa buong sanglibutan, then darating na ang katapusan. Pansinin po natin. Colossians 1:23. Colossians, Paul's letter to the Colossians was written approximately 64 AD. 6 years before 70 AD. Di ba? Sabi niya, if indeed you continue in the faith, grounded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which you heard, which was preached, past tense, to every creature under heaven, which I, Paul, became a minister. So, naipangaral ng Ebanghelyo sa buong sanglibutan sa panahon na bago masisira ang templo sa Jerusalem. At ito yung katunayan sa Colossians 1:23, di ba? Kung inisip natin, preach in all the world is the world as we know it now, kakamali tayo. The people then, with whom Paul is writing to, did not know about the Philippines, did not know about Australia, New Zealand, India. Hindi nila alam yan. Ang alam lang nila is the Roman Empire. At doon din ang aral ng mga apostol sa panahon na yun, na pinag-utos ng ating Panginoon. Then the end will come. Pag nangyari na ito, mga bagay nito, darating na katapusan ng destruction in Jerusalem. Masisira yung templo sa Jerusalem. Then, mayroong mga pangyayari na mangyayari during the destruction of the temple. Kung meron, if you have the book by Josephus, The Wars of the Jews, maganda yon. That's very good because Josephus is not inspired by the Holy. He was a Jewish historian working among the Romans. And he wrote that history, and it confirms what the Lord is saying sa Matthew 24. Yun po, ako meron akong libro ng di Josephus. Mababasa yan, The War of the Jews. 15 to 28. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, ito po yung mababasa nyo sa hula ni Daniel, standing in the holy place. The abomination of desolation. The Gentiles are in the temple. Tandaan po natin, the Gentiles are not allowed inside the temple. Pero during the destruction of the temple, yung mga Romans will come inside the temple. Sisirain nga nila eh. Whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. So Matthew 24 is not talking about the whole world. It's talking about Judea. Because Jerusalem is located in Judea. So, how do we fulfill that? If you're in the Philippines, you have to go to Judea, and then you flee. Okay, sa Pilipinas, para matupad natin ito, pupunta ka pa sa Judea, tapos tatakas ka. So that means the place is Judea. Because Jerusalem is located in Judea. Ang Jerusalem nasa Judea yan. Kaya Judea kanya. Tumakas kayo kanya. Pag nakikita na ninyo, when you see the Romans inside the temple, then you flee. Yun ang sinasabi ng Panginoon. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house. Kung nasa bubungan ka niya, huwag ka nang bumaba para kung kunin mo anumang bagay, tumakas ka na rin, kanya. And let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. Kung ikay nasa bukid, tumakas ka na rin, kanya. But woe to those who are pregnant. Bakit? Because it's very difficult to flee when you are pregnant. Paano matatakbo kung ikay buntis, di ba? And those who are nursing babies, kung ikay nagpapasuso in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in winter because mas mahirap tumakas kung ito'y taglamig, or on the Sabbath because all the gates of the city are closed. Hindi ka makakalabas. For then there will be a great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. Bisa mas masama pa ito doon sa nangyari sa mga Hudyo na ginawa ni Hitler. Yung sabi ng Panginoon eh. Ayon po kay Josephus, doon sa natira sa templo, because the city was ibig sabihin, pinaligiran. The city of Jerusalem was siege. Pinaligiran. So wala kang nagkakainin. So, ayon kay Josephus, kung ikay may anak, kakainin niya yung anak mo ngayon, tapos yung anak mo kakainin sa kinabukasan. Pag namatay, kakainin. Lahat na pwedeng kainin, kakainin. Dahil wala sila makain. Meron pa sinabi si Josephus na nasa bibig mo na, kukunin pa si bibig mo para kainin nila. Yun ang karamaldumal na pangyayari sa panahon na yun. Ganyan. And unless those days were shortened, this is very interesting, no flesh will be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. For the elect's sake, for the sake of the Christians. General Titus was the one who led the siege of Jerusalem. For some unknown reasons, General Titus left Jerusalem. Umalis siya. Bigla silang umalis. So, yun ang sinasabi ng Panginoon, those days were shortened. Natapos yung siege. Umalis si General Titus. Ayon kay Josephus. That's providence. Bigla silang umalis. So, yun ang sabi ng Panginoon. Then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, look, he is in the desert, do not go out. Look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will gather together. Tingnan ninyo. Di ba tinatanong nila, when will be the sign of your coming? The Lord is not talking about his coming, his last coming, his second coming. Hindi. He's talking about the judgment of Israel as a nation. Tignan nyo, susunod. Verse 29 to 31 is the judgment of the nation of Israel. Very interesting na tingnan niyo mga kapatid. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. So ito yung kasunod ng mga mangyayari sa panahon na yun, kanya. In AD 70, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Hindi ito tumutukoy sa end of the world o yung pagdating ng Panginoon, dahil ito immediately. Pagkatapos na nasira ang temple sa Jerusalem, ito mangyayari kanya. It is the judgment of the nation of Israel. Tingnan ninyo yung mga figures. The sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. These figures are common in the Old Testament, a sign of a judgment. Tingnan po natin. Bigyan tayong halimbawa. Dito po sa Babylon. Dito sa Isaiah, chapter 13, 9 to 10. Compare natin na po. We'll compare about the judgment of the nation of the king of Babylon. At dito po sa signs of Matthew 24:29 to verse 31. Basahin natin sa Isaiah chapter 13 na po. 9 to 10. Ito ang ating mababasa. Ito. Behold, the day of the Lord comes. The name day of the Lord is not talking about Sunday. The day of the Lord is always a judgment. Tingnan, basahin natin. Cruel with both wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he will destroy its sinners from it. For the stars of heaven and their constellation will not give their light. The sun will be darkened in the going forth, and the moon will not cause its light to shine. Ito po these are figures of judgment. In this particular case, the judgment of the king of Babylon. Meron pang iba, basahin po natin. Ano po? Dito po sa Joel, chapter 3, 14-15. Ito naman po, the judgment of the nations. Ganyan. Dito po sa Joel, ano po? Nahanap po natin si Joel. Joel. Ano po? So Joel chapter 3, 14, 15. Tingnan pa, ganun pa rin. Basahin natin. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord, again, a day of judgment, is near in the valley of decision. The sun and moon will grow dark, and the stars will diminish their brightness. The judgment, di ba? Pareho sa binabasa natin dito. So, etc., etc. Yun po these are figures of judgment. So, this is a judgment of the nation of Israel. When the destruction of the temple has occurred, the Lord will have rejected the nation of Israel as His nation. Nung natapos, when the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed, and so is the nation of Israel. Now, the basis of the nation of Israel is the genealogies from the 12 tribes of Israel. Andun sa temple yun eh. Nung nasunog lahat yan, the basis for the nation of Israel was destroyed. Kaya nga po yun ay sign, the coming of the Son of Man, the day of the Lord was a judgment for the nation of Israel. Yeah, saan yung tingnan ninyo, kailan ito nangyari? Ito binasa natin from chapter verse 4 hanggang sa verse 28. Kailan nangyari yan? Basahin natin. Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So pagka yun daw po mga sangay nagiging tender at tumutubo na yung mga dahon ng fig tree, malapit na yung summer. So that's the sign that the summer is near. So you also, ganyan. Kayo rin, ganyan. When you see all these things, sino makakakita nun? Hindi tayo. Sila, kausap ng ating Panginoon. You, kanya eh. You will see all these things. Know that it is near at the doors. Surely I say to you, this generation, itong lahing ito, kanya eh. This generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. So it will occur during the generation of the apostles. Yung mga taong kasabay ng mga apostol. Yung kailang generasyon, kanya. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. Na sinasabi ng Panginoon, totoong sinasabi ko kanya. Yung salitang generation comes from the word, means from the word age, kanya. Of the whole multitude of men living at the same time. Matthew 24 verse 34. Ito mismo talatang ito. Mark chapter 13 verse 30. Luke chapter 1 verse 48. 21 verse 32. Philippians 2:15. And especially of those of the Jewish race living at the same period. Matthew 11 verse 16. So ito sa panahon nila. Yung generasyon ng mga taong sumagsabay ng ating Panginoon. So hindi ito nangyari sa panahon natin ngayon. Nangyari na noon. Kasi sa generation nila kanya, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. At this generation is referring to the all people living at the same time at that time. Yung lahat ng mga taong buhay sa panahon na yun. So hindi sa panahon natin ngayon. So, Matthew 4:24 verse 4 to verse 35 is referring to the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem as well as the judgment of the nation of Israel. Sila yung natunan ng Diyos bilang isang bansa at tinakwi na sila bilang bansa at hindi na sila bansa. So from AD 70 up to the present, the nation of Israel, beginning from the Old Testament, ay wala na. Now, tatanungin niyo ako, you ask me, but there is a nation of Israel. That is not the same nation of Israel of the Old Testament. Hindi pareho yun. Yun po isang political nation built by the British and the Americans. Yung Zionist movement. Hindi yan ang talagang bansang Israel na babasa na sa Biblia. May nagtataka, mayroong nabasang kapatid Naniniwala siya, yun daw ang Israel ng Biblia. Hindi mo alam Biblia mo, kapatid, pag nabasa mo yun. So verses 36-44, that is the coming of the Son of Man, the end of the age. Yun ang tanong. When will be the end of the age? So sinagot din ng Panginoon, di ba? Tatlong tanong, tatlong sagot. Kaya importante yung context sa simula ng kabanata. The context at the beginning of the chapter is very important because it defines the whole chapter. Tinuturo niya ang buong kabanata. Tignan nyo, basahin natin. For of that day and hour no one knows. Day, singular. The previous verses, the days will be shortened. Days versus day. Days, plural. Day, singular. Ito'y tumutukoy sa araw ng the day of judgment when the Lord will come and judge the world. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, meaning before the flood, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. So, but itong pagdating na ito ay naiba dun sa unang binasa natin. Yung una may signs eh. Makikita mo nga yung sign para umalis ka na eh. Pero the coming of the Son of Man has no sign. Di mo alam. Just like in the days of Noah. Sabi dito. Ano ba nangyayari doon? Whereas in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. They're doing the natural things. Until the day that Noah entered the ark and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. Hindi nila alam kung kailan kung darating yung baha. They did not know when the flood will come. Not even Noah. Kahit si Noah, hindi niya alam. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. That's similar. Ibig sabihin, pareho. Noah and the people during his time did not know the exact day and hour when the flood will come. Hindi nila alam. So also in the coming of the Son of Man. Then two men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left. Two women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken and the other left. Bakit ang tanong? Bakit dalawa lang? Bakit dalawa? Bakit di 10? Bakit hindi 24, 28, 50? Bakit dalawa lang? Di ba dapat that's a legitimate question. Why only two men? And two women? Are there only two men in Jerusalem matitira sa mundo? There are two men only living before the Lord will come, and two women living before the Lord will come? No. Two men. Two men. One is a Christian, one is not. Two women. One is a Christian, one is not. Those Christians will be taken by the Lord into heaven, and the other left. They will be taken into hell. So ito ang judgment, di ba? So di makikita natin. What's therefore? For you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. This is the complete opposite of the first part of Matthew 24. Balikan natin yung sign of the fig tree. Tingnan niyo. Dito sa verse 36 onwards, there is no sign. You will not know. So if you will not know, there is no sign. Whereas the destruction of Jerusalem did have signs. Kaya nga pag nakita mo niya, when you did see the signs, then you know that it is near. Katulad ng fig tree. Ginamit ng Panginoon yung example ng fig tree to show that it is the same when the destruction of Jerusalem is already near. Basta ulitin natin kanina, ano po? Dito sa 32. Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So yung fig, ano po, pag nakita mo ng ganyan, malapit na kanya yung summer. So you also, when you see these things, those are signs. Pero dito sa binabasa natin, the coming of the Son of Man, there is no sign. Therefore, you have to watch. Or you have to be prepared. Yung ibig sabihin ng watch. Be prepared, therefore. For you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. The end of the age, the day of judgment, has no sign. The destruction of Jerusalem and the judgment of the nation of Israel had signs. So ito yung tama yung conclusion. Bakit? Because there are three questions. When will these things be? Or when will be the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem? What is the sign of your coming? And of the end of the age? Three questions, three answers. Ganun lang simple yun, di ba? So when you have the context, hindi ka mawawala. So yung bang earthquake nito, totoo yan. Pansinin natin, bakit napakagaling? Bakit napakagaling nilang malaman ng earthquakes? Because they are instruments. Previous, in the past, babalik tayo, 300 years before, 200 years before, 100 years before, people were not as good in recording earthquakes. They have no instruments. Pero may instrumento na yung mga tao. So it appears that we have frequent earthquakes now, whereas in the past, it was not. That's false. Hindi ba nyo alam, araw-araw meron tayong lindol? Japan, Philippines, those along the Pacific Ring of Fire, they have earthquakes every day. Kaya lang mahina, hindi natin napapansin. Kasi gumagalaw talaga yung mga tectonic plates. Gumagalaw yan. Sometimes, ang paggalaw nila is substantial na marinig mo yung paggalaw. But in most cases, masyadong mahina, you do not even notice it. Pero mayroong earthquake. Kahit sa Japan, gano'n. Hindi natin napapansin. Pero there are earthquakes every day. Kaya mahina lang sila. Ngayon, wars. Marami ng panahon na may digmaan. Buot yung tao, naging tao, marami ng digmaan, di ba? So ito ba, digma-digmaan na ito, hindi tumutukoy pag marami ng digma, dating ang Panginoon. On the opposite, papilagay ko, pag tahimik na at wala ng gera, doon darating ang Panginoon. At an hour you do not expect. So habang in-expect natin yan, bakit di ba dating ang Panginoon? So anong moral of the lesson? Kung tayo masyadong nagiging speculative just because marami ng earthquake, dating ng Panginoon, hindi. You have to respect what the Lord said. Hindi natin alam. Ulitin natin na po. Ito sa Matthew 24, hindi natin alam. Kahit, sabi nito sa Tagalog pa, kahit ang Panginoon, kahit hindi niya alam, kanya Pero sa English, wala po yun. Basta natin sa Matthew 24 na po. Yung sabi niya, verse 42. Watch therefore, in other words, be prepared. For you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. So, hindi natin alam. Dito rin po sa verse 36. But of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So, if to respect what the Bible says, hindi natin alam kung kailan dating ang Panginoon. Katulad din na hindi natin mapipredict ang isang earthquake. Kung kailan dating, walang prediction na gano'n. You can record an earthquake pag nangyari na, but hindi mo siya mapipredict bago siya mangyari. So, hindi totoo, just because gumamit namin ng mga earthquakes na naranasan natin. So, dati ng Panginoon, malayo sa katotohanan niyo. Sa Matthew 24 verse 4 to 35, it deals with the signs and events that will occur before the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem, as well as the destruction itself. These have all been fulfilled in AD 70. Kaya noong AD 70, wala nang bansang Israel. Nang tumira doon, mga Arabo na. Kaya nga nakatira doon, Arabs. Dahil wala na yung mga Hudyo doon. Lahat ng mga bansang pinarusyahan ng Diyos, nawawala bilang bansa. Pag-aralan yung Biblia niyo, Yung nation of Egypt was judged, nawala. Yung nation of Syria, nawala. Babylon, nawala. Chaldea, nawala. Yung bansang Rome, yung mga Romano, nawala. Pinatulan sila sa aklat ng Apocalypse na wala yung mga Romano. Meron sila na Rome. But those people living in Italy are Italians, not Romans. Ang salita ng mga Romans is Latin, or was Latin, dahil wala nagsasalita niya. The language of the Italians is Italian. Two different languages. Magkaiba, hindi sila pareho. The present Egyptians are Arabs. Yung mga Egyptian, sa panahon ng Old Testament, are Egyptians. Hindi natin alam kung ano lingwahe nila, but definitely not Arabs. So, wala sila. Mag-aralin ang Biblia nyo. Pag inatulan ng Diyos ang isang bansa, nawawala sila. Yung Medo-Persian, wala na rin. Babylon, wala na rin, di ba? So, tingnan na makikita natin. So, the coming of the Lord in the last day has no sign, and is described like a thief coming in the night. So, people will be normally doing their usual activities, and it will come at a time no one expects. It will be a surprise. Pag dumating ang Panginoon, bigla siyang darating, hindi natin alam. So, our preparation, ang point of view, what's important, whether there are earthquakes or otherwise, we don't care. Wala tayong pakialam doon. Ang dapat nating isipin, our preparation is a daily expectation that anytime the Lord will come. Yan ang sinasabing what's there for kanya, or be prepared. Yan ang ating dapat isipin. Earthquakes and other calamities are just natural part of the earth. Hindi naman po ngayon lang nagkakaroon rin doon. Noong July 1969, nagkaroon ng malakas na lindol. Na bumagsak yung Ruby Tower. Yun ang ating unang tiraan niya ng mga inchik, mayayaman. Bumagsak yun. Malakas na lindol yun. Tapos yung 1990, nagkaroon ng malakas na lindol, nasira yung Baguio, dagupan sa Cabanatuan City, di ba? So hindi yan bago sa atin. It's a natural part of the earth. Gumagalaw nga yung tectonic plates niya, di ba? Kasi ang earth is not a solid ball. Parang bungo yan. Meron siyang mga hati-hati. At doon sa mga pagitan ng mga plates kanya, gumagalaw yan. Kaya nagkakaroon ng earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Yan makikita natin. So, ibig sabihin, earthquakes, calamities, nangyayari yan, lalo sa Pilipinas. So, this is not the perfect ideal home. This is not our real home. Our real home is in heaven. So, our real home in heaven is a wonderful place without any bad things that's happening on the earth. Wala na yun ang mga yun. So, what should strike us? Instead of thinking the Lord is coming, pabayaan natin yun. The Lord will come. Wala tayong magagawa doon. But we need to prepare always. Our prepare is a daily preparation. And actually, we are living on a daily basis. And a daily basis because we do not know when we will die and we do not know when the Lord will come. Yun ang importansya ng mga yan. Pag nagkakaroon ng earthquake, you should bagang bigyan tayo ng dahilan na maganda. And our preparation should be every day. So kung dumating ang Panginoon, tanda tayo. Diba? E kailan tayo mag-aanda kung di araw-araw. So itong mga nangyayari, kalamidad, should make us think, this is not our home. This is not our home. Our home is in heaven. It is in John chapter 14. This is the promise of the Lord. The Lord will come again and will bring us to heaven. Ito po, basahin natin sa John chapter 14. At maganda, ako gusto kong basahin yan dito sa English. Ayaw ko sa Tagalog. Parang walang dating yung Tagalog. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Saan ba pumunta ang Panginoon? Sa langit. That's where we're going. Pagdating ng Panginoon, kukunin tayo ng Panginoon, dadalhin tayo sa langit. Yun ba? So, our preparation should be daily preparation. Earthquakes or no earthquakes, you prepare. Every day. Yun ang makita natin. Sana po, so do not believe what premillennialists are saying. These are the signs of the end of the world. Wala, malayo yan. The end of the world has no sign. It will just come like a thief in the night. Doon po sa 2 Peter, yung sabi sa atin. Tingnan yung ginamit sa 2 Peter. The day of the Lord. The expression, the day of the Lord, is always a judgment. Pag-aralan nyo ang buong Biblia. Sa 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, anong tawag doon sa judgment day? The day of the Lord. Basahin natin. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. It is the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are in it will be burnt up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of person ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and elements will melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and a new earth in his righteousness, a new home in heaven. Yan yung sinasabi ni Apostle Peter. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Ganun po. Sana po natuto po tayo at makatulong po sa ating pag-aaral sa salita ng Diyos. Matatakot tayo sa earthquake. Siyempre earthquake yan. Tao lang tayo. But our faith will overcome the fear. Yun ang makikita natin. So maraming salamat sa inyong matsagang pakikinig. Tingnan po natin itong Edna Villamayor. Good evening po, Brother Lordy, at sa lahat po ng nakikinig. Roy Bebs Kapili, blessed evening po mga kapatid. Leonito Tereliza, na ibang Arabi, katakay amin, kakabsat, na ibigang sabihin, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat mga kapatid. Daisy Moido Mosico, blessed evening, Brother Lordy and all. Thank you. Mr. Daisy. Jim Lacambra, mapagpalang gabi po sa lahat. Jonah Darasin, magandang gabi po sa lahat, brother and sister. Ito po yung balo ni Brother Rick Darasin. Ronnie, good evening po. Rafael Ortiz, magandang gabi po. Marisa, Brieta, Manzanillo, magandang gabi Brother Ortiz sa lahat ng mga kapatid. Aljan Macapo, good evening po. Rachel Goto, good evening po sa lahat. Melinda Dicensenis, good evening po Brother Lordy, good evening po din po mga kapatid. Nida Villamin, good evening Brother Lordy, and to all listeners. Good evening po Joseph Sonorio. Good evening po Iriga Charles of Price watching. Sai Velasco, good evening po watching from Bicol. Rahem Arguelles, good evening Brother Lordy sa lahat na nakikinig ng mga kapatid. Roberto Marasigan, good evening po Brother Lordy and listening. Watching from Canluba. Makingat po tayo, Brother Roberto, hindi yung dapong West Valley Fault. Daraan sana, Canluba. Anyway, malata naman naman tayo magagawa dito. Darating, hindi man natin malalabanan niya. Agosto 12. Good evening po, tanong. Magandang gabi, meron tanong, mamaya na. Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Race Chai. These are goods to start with the study of the Son of Man. Kami ang sayang mga ganyan. Hindi matatas ang libuting ang mga bayan ng Israel hanggang sa pumaritong anak ng tao. Ito yung matitiman ng mga kamarang kanagat. Magkaiba naman po yung Matthew 16 verse 28. Yun ang pagdating ng kaharian ng Diyos. Ito namang pinag-uusapan natin ay yung destruction of Jerusalem. Contextual mga kapatid. Masahin natin mamaya Matthew 10 verse 22. Pero tumingin muna po tayo kay Reggie Margueles. Brad, mahalin tulad ba ang mga kalamidad gaya ng mga lindol sa galit ng Diyos na kung saan ang lindol ay naroon din ang galit ng Diyos gaya ng mga nangyayari noon? Na magkagayon na uga at nayanig ang lupa at ang mga patibayan naman ng mga bundok ay nakilos at nauga sapagkat sinapot. One thing we need to understand, God doesn't judge His people with evil people. Nandaan natin yun. Kaya ang conclusion po natin, these calamities are just natural calamities. These are calamities that will naturally happen because the earth is the earth. Ganito, this is how the Lord created the earth. Wala tayong magagawa doon. Pagsanin nyo, si Abraham sa Genesis, bargain with the Lord. Sabi niya, kung meron ka matatagpan na matwid sa siyudad na Sodom at Gomorrah, gigibay mo ba yung bayan? Hindi kanya sabi ng Diyos. No. Pagka inahatulan ng Diyos sa mga bansa, hindi kasama ang bansang Israel. Unless otherwise, nung inatulan ng Diyos mismo ang bansang Israel, na nagkasala sila. So these are just natural calamities. Yun po sinasabi dyan, may particular na application sa panahon na yun. Pero ngayon, makikita natin, these are natural calamities. Kasama tayo eh. Apektado tayo kasama niya eh. Pagka inahatulan ng Diyos yung mga tao, hindi kasama yung bayan niya. Kasi ninyo, the judgment day, hindi tayo kasama doon. Iiwalay tayo ng Diyos sa mga parusahan niya, di ba? So, the biblical view is, these calamities are natural calamities. Period. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. May bagyo every year may bagyo. Whether we like it or not, typhoons will come. It's a natural part of the earth. Sa bahagi ng mundo natin, talagang magbabagyo yan. Wala tayong magagawa. There will be no year when there will be no typhoons. Every year, may typhoon yan. Kasi pagkasama yan sa pag-ihinog ng mundo eh. From east to west. Pansinin nyo, ang mga bagyo galing sa east. Kasi yan ang pag-ihinog niya, di ba? Alright. Dito si Agosto 12. Matthew 24 verse 28. Basahin po natin. Nagiba na, Biblia ko, nagiba na. So, Matthew 24 verse 28. So, may mga bangkay, kanya, di ba? Binabanggit daw. Pero to be sure, basahin natin muli. Para sigurado naman po tayo. 24 verse 48. Hindi yata 48 siya, ano po? 28. Ito. Wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. Alam niyo, yung isang bagay na makikita natin, this is both literal and figurative. Literal, pagka may bangkay, may mga ano yan, yung eagle sinasabi dito, yung mga vulture. Vulture is a kind of eagle, di ba? On the other hand, makikita rin natin yung sign ng mga Romano is an eagle. So pagdating ng mga Romans, magkakaroon ng mga bangkay dahil papatayin nila yung mga Hudyo. So pag may namatay, meron ding vulture sa taas. So this is both figurative and literal. Magkakaroon talaga ng bangkay. At kung may bangkay, may mga vulture sa taas, nakakainin nila yung mga bangkay. So in other words, may mga mamamatay. Yun yung sinasabi mo. So dito po sa balik tayo sa Matthew chapter 10 verse 23. Ano to? Ito lumang Biblia ko binabasa ko eh. Matthew 10 verse 23. Kasi kailangan natin makita yung context kung anong pinag-uusapan doon. Kasi ito yung sinugo sila ng ating Panginoon. Di po ako nagkakamali. 12 alagad ng Panginoon. Di ba? Sinugo sila. Sayin natin. Ito sa verse 23. when they persecute you in this city, flee to another. For assuredly I say to you, you will not have gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. So maaaring ito'y tumutukoy dun sa um, destruction of Jerusalem, di ba? Kasi darating ang Panginoon in the sense of a judgment. So mangyari muna ito nga bago hatulan ang bansang Israel. Dahil kung ito ay patungkol sa pagdating niya, ay di dumating na siya noon. Pagkatapos nagawa ito ng mga lagad, di ba? Dito sa Matthew 16 verse 28, meron din point dito si Brother Rice Chai, na basahin natin. Assuredly I say to you, where there are some standing here who shall not taste death till see the Son of Man coming in His kingdom. Pero pagdating niya sa kanyang kaharian. So ito yung pagtatag ng kaharian ng ating Panginoon. Pero the point is, the kingdom of God was established during the generation of the apostles. Hindi lahat dahil may namatay, di ba? Namatay si Judas Iscariote. Pero sa narasyon ng kanyang mga alagad, darating ang kaharian ng Diyos. So, in that sense, pareho dun sa destruction of Jerusalem, ito pa rin sa parehong panahon. Kung ang iglesia ay naitatag noong AD 30 or AD 33, ang destruction is AD 70. So, pareho pa rin yung narasyon nyo. Pero, of course, this AD 70, may mga apostol na namatay doon. So, itong sinasabi sa 16 verse 28, hindi ito tungkol sa destruction of Jerusalem, pero ito sa pagtatag ng kanyang kaharian yan. May mga, parang Mark 9:1 lang yan, di ba? So anyway, the coming of the Son of Man, the coming of the Son of God, the day of the Lord are three different places, but they're the same. Ito'y nagtutumutungkol sa judgment. Basahin natin sa Old Testament, the day of the Lord, the day of God, ganyan. The coming of ganun. Parang judgment yan. Kahit nga sa 2 Peter, ganyan. The day of the Lord, ganyan. And that is judgment. Iba naman yung Lord's Day. Lord's Day siya Sunday yun. Hindi parehong construction yun, mga pati magkaiba. Wag tayo maging masyadong technical, ano po. Sa Matthew 24, hindi yung second coming. Yun ang judgment ng Panginoon sa bansang Israel. Pero yung pangatlong bahagi, ito yung patungkol sa pagdating ng Panginoon. Tingnan po, inspeksyonin niyo yung mga sinasabi, the second coming, but the Son of... Pareho lang yun. Doon sa 24, pareho yun. Dahil ang kasunod ng Matthew 24 is Matthew 25. Yan ang judgment na sinasabi ng Panginoon, di ba? So, masyado kang technical pag ginagawa natin yun. You have to see the context. Saan ba pinag-uusapan? Si Ronnie, good evening po. Follow up lang po sa tanong. Posible bang may direktang intervention ng Diyos sa mga ibang mga kalamidad nangyayari sa panahon natin? O purely natural. Kasi pagka gagamitin ng Diyos ang mga kalamidad para parusahan ng mga tao, dapat hindi kasama ng mga Kristiyano. Bakit niya parurusahan ng mga tao niya? Tingnan niyo, may isang kapatid, hindi ko nasasabi kung taga saan, malapit sa amin. Ang sabi niya, yung mga pinatumo raw ay judgment ng Diyos dahil sa mga tao raw po ay sumasama sa mga Diyos. Sabi ko sa kanya, bakit kasama tayo? Hindi naman tayo sumasama sa Diyos, hindi ba? So, those are natural calamities. Nangyayari naman yun. Mula nung ang mundo yung naging mundo, dyan na lahat yan eh. In some cases, during the Old Testament, merong divine intervention dahil nakasulat. Pero ito yung wala eh. So we have to conclude na ito yung natural calamities lang. Kung pag-aaralan po natin ng paghatol ng Diyos, sinahatulan lang ng Diyos yung dapat hatulan. Pasyahan nyo, hiniwala niya si Noah dahil sila yung matuwid. Sino yung hatulan niya? Yung masasama. Na Sodom at Gomorrah, ganun din. Kaya lang, nagkataon, 4 lang Ang natira, 10 kasi yung pinaka-last figure eh. Isa, 4 lang. Ay, sinira na ng Diyos, pero inalis na si Noah, si Lot, di ba? Gusto ninyo, i-observe nyo, wala na makikita natin. Hindi natulan ng Diyos ang bayan niya kasama ng mga masama. Palaging hiwalay yan. Sa judgment day, ganun din. Hindi tayo hatulan ng Diyos kasama yung masama. Hiwalay tayo. Dadaling sa langit at sila yung hatulan. So, those are natural calamities. Ngayon, gusto nating patunayan divine intervention, saan natin mapapatunayan yun? Unless otherwise, meron tayong makikitang talata. Sa panahon natin ngayon, wala naman. Yun ay, yung mga nangyayari ngayon are simply natural calamities. Hindi natin alam, baka nangyayari na ito noong unang panahon. Kaya lang, dahil wala namang magandang recordings noong unang panahon, so hindi nila na-record na kasing galing sa panahon natin ngayon. Isipin nyo ngayon, kada araw, kaya oras, mamemesyon nila, di ba? Mamemesyon na rin mga bagay-bagay. Pero tingnan po natin sinasabi ni Race China po. Kasi baka meron tayong matutunan. Pero, basahin natin. Sabi niya doon sa 24, dito sa 30 kanya. Pero pasinin niyo sa verse 27. Ito po ay isang parenthesis. Although tinutukoy nila yung tungkol sa destruction of Jerusalem, pero dahil naisip nila pag dumating, dating na ng Panginoon kanya, ang pagdating ng Panginoon kanya, makikita natin lahat. So hindi ito tumutukoy sa, hindi natin explain kanina, ito po ay tumutungkol doon sa pagdating ng Panginoon. Malalaman mo yan. Hindi may tatago kanya. Eh, dito sa 36 kanya, no 24, ito, dumigit. Ito, basahin natin. Sabi dito, the coming of the Son of Man be. So, yung sabihin, coming of the Son of Man be, yan ang judgment day. Pag sila, day of the Lord, kung mababasa sa ibang lugar, yun din ang judgment day. Pero ibang judgment yun. Kasi marami naman judgment sa nangyari sa Biblia. Pero yung final judgment, tinawag din day of the Lord. Yan. Nasinin natin yung sign of the Son of Man, ganyan. Doon sa 19-something, the sign of the Son of Man, ganyan. Yun ay sign ng kanyang paghatol sa bansang Israel. Dahil nangyari ang pagkatapos ng tribulation, ganyan. Di ba? Immediately, ganyan. So, abang pagkatapos mangyari ang mga tribulation na yun, ito yung consequence. It is the judgment of the nation of Israel. Mawawala na yung bansang Israel bilang isang bansa. Ay, babayaan natin yung sa Tagalog. Hindi naman eksakto yung Tagalog. Yung eagle, hindi naman eagle siya. Siyang uri din ng eagle yan, pero actual eagle, ganyan. At ang kumakain lamang sa bangkay ay vulture. Yung mga natural na agila, ang kinakain nila buhay. Bird of prey yan eh. Pero may klaseng agila, ang tawag ay vulture, na kumakain na ng bangkay. Tingnan niyo sa internet nyo. Ang vulture po ay isang uri ng agila. Kaya makikita natin, ginamit na sa salitang agila riyan. Generic yun, sabihin. Pero kumakain lang po ng mga bangkay, ay mga vulture. Eh kung may bangkay dyan at may binabangkit na naghihintay, eh ano yan? Vulture yan, mga batid. Katulad sila ng agila eh. Sabi dito, bird of prey. A vulture is a large bird of prey known for feeding on carrion, which is dead animals. So, ibig sabihin, yan tinutukoy doon. Dahil yung mga agila, hindi kumakain ng patay yan. Kumakain lang yan ng buhay. Yun makikita natin. Dito. Meron din pong condors, kumakain din ng gano'n. So, generic po yun. Sabihin, it's yung uri ng malaking ibon na kumakain ng patay. Yung mga agila kasi hindi sila kumakain ng patay. Sila kumakain ng buhay. Yan natin na po. Para masigurado tayo. So, maaaring yun ang ibig sabihin, no? Yung ginamit siya ang iiganan niya. Tama lang po yung sinasabi natin. Kasi mukha lang sinasabi ni Brother Ray Stein. Yan niya. Hindi, parenthesis yun eh. Kasi kung yun ay tumutukoy lang doon sa judgment ng Jerusalem, sinasabi lang ng Panginoon, huwag kayo maniwala na dumating na ako kanya eh. So, ang paningin nila, may magtuturo sa panahon na yan, doon yung Panginoon kanya. Di ba nandito siya, doon, yung sinasabi nila eh. Huwag kayo maniwala doon, pag dumating ako, makikita niyo lahat yung sinasabi niya. Ang sinasabi ng Panginoon, kanya talagang pagdating na muli. Kasi ang makikita nating gagawin ng mga tao sa panahon na dadayain nila yung mga tao. Dumating na yung Panginoon, kanya andun siya, andun siya. Hindi ba sabi niya? Hindi ganun kanya. Pag dumating ang Panginoon, tumutukoy talaga sa pagdating niya, sa huling araw, makikita niyo lahat yan, kanya. Yung tingnan niyo, basahin niyo. Parang parenthesis yun eh. Para tingnan po natin, basahin natin. Ano? So, doon sa panahon na yon, marami magtuturo na gano'n. Darating na yung Panginoon. Ako ng Panginoon, kanila. Di ba, basahin natin. Para maging maliwanag. Sa verse 24, na Matthew 24, for false Christ and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, impossible even to the elect. See, I've told you before. Therefore, if they say to you, look, he's in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he's in the inner rooms, do not believe it. So, ano tinutukoy ito ng Panginoon? Yung talagang pagdating niya. Kasi may nagtuturo, nandun na siya eh. May mga false Christ eh, di ba? So, pag gano'n ganyan, hindi totoo yan. Pag ako'y dumating, hindi na kayo magtataka, makikita nyo ko darating. Ganyan. Yun sabi niya. Pinapaliwanag lamang niya na pagdating sa panahon na ito, nga nabang na nagigiba yung templo sa Jerusalem, mayroon din darating na magsasabi silang Kristo nga niya. Huwag kayo maniwala doon kanya. Pag dumating ako nga niya, malalaman niyo lahat. Tingnan niyo, basahin niyo. Yun ang sinasabi niya. Kaya may 24 verse 34, ito'y tumutukoy sa destruction of Jerusalem. Mangyayari, kung ito'y tumutukoy sa pagdating niya, di dumating na yung Panginoon. Kasi ang henerasyon, yung panahon ng mga taong sabay-sabay na nabuhay na panahon na yun. Kung yun ang tinutukoy, di dumating na yung Panginoon, hindi pa dumating. So, hindi ganun ang sinasabi ng Panginoon daw. Anyway, pag-aralan po nyo. Magandang pag-aaral po yan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig. Interesting po, ano po. Ganun talaga ang pag-aasalta ng Diyos. Medyo maganda. Interesting.
The seed of the kingdom, brother, in the morning, bright and fair. Are you sowing the seed of the kingdom, brother, in the heat of the noonday's glare? For the harvest time is coming on, and the reaper's work will soon be done. Will you sheaves me, many will you garner, any for the gathering at the harvest home? Are you sowing the seed of the kingdom, brother, in the still and solemn night? Are you sowing the seed of the kingdom, brother, for a harvest pure and white? For the harvest time is coming on, and the reaper's work will soon be done. sheaves be many, will you garner any for the gathering at the harvest home? Are you sowing the seed of the kingdom, brother, all along the fertile way? Are you sowing the seed of the kingdom, brother? You must reap at the last great day. For the harvest time is coming on, and the reaper's work will soon be done. Will your sheaves be many? Will you garner any for the gathering at the harvest home? Amid this swiftly changing world, when a calm cannot be found, God gives us hope and faith and love, gracious blessings that abound. He is our anchor in the storms, the foundation of our days, the solid rock on which we stand, and our cornerstone of faith. When challenges and changes come to distract us from all peace, let's set our minds on things above, for God's mercies never cease. He is our anchor in the storm, the foundation of our days, the solid rock on which we stand, and our cornerstone of faith. God's promises are wonderful, and His words our sword and shield. Christ's constant love's our living hope, and the Spirit is our seal. He is our anchor in the storm, the foundation of our days, the solid rock on which we stand, and our cornerstone of faith.
Maraming salamat po mga kapatid. Pag-aralan po natin. Maganda po yan eh. Actually, talagang kailangan nating pag-aralan yan dahil itong Matthew 24 ginagamit ng mga premillennialist para sabihin na itong mga bagay na ito ay mga tanda sa pangalang pagdating ng Panginoon. Kaya magandang pag-aralan po natin. Dahil gagamitin po nila yan habang dumarami itong mga earthquake, kalamidad, sasabihin nila malapit na dumating ang Panginoon. Whereas tayo po, hindi natin kailangan yung ganyan. Hinihintay na nga natin ang pagdating ng Panginoon. Yan ang gusto natin mangyari na, hindi ba? Hindi natin kinatatakot. Unless otherwise, hindi ka prepared. That's the time na talagang dapat tayo matakot sa mga bagay dito. Maraming salamat po. Ano po? Kung hindi pa naging malinaw ng tanong, pwede natin linawin sa mga susunod nating pagkakaroon ng Facebook Live preaching. Maraming salamat sa inyo mga tanong. Hindi po tayo nag-argue, ano man. Pag-aralan natin. Tayo po ay bukas po ating kaisipan sa pag-aaral, pero kinakailangan nating pag-aralan at dapat nating malaman kung ano yung totoo. Ang totoo niyan, itong nangyayari mga sunod-sunod na earthquake, walang kaugnayan ng Matthew 24. Wala pong kaugnayan. Natural lamang yan. So, tayo po'y manalangin. Mga banal, pasalamat po kami sa inyo sa araw na ito. Nakaraos po kami sa aming mga pangailangan, sa aming mga gawain, sa aming mga trabaho, na pinagpapasalamatan po namin sa inyo, Diyos. Lalo higit sa lahat na kami nakaraos sa pag-aaral ng mga salita at sa pagsunod ng iyong kalooban sa araw-araw ng aming mga buhay. Pero kami humingi po ng tawad, kapatawaran sa aming mga pagkukulang at pagkakasala namin. Nagagawa ba kami nasa mundong ito? Pinagsisikapan po namin kami maging matwid ang sa inyong kalooban. Pero Kailangan namin ng inyong biyaya at pagpapatawad kapag nagkakasala po namin. Bigyan niyo kami ng kapakababaan ng aming pag-iisip. Huwag po kayo magpanalo na isipin na kami matayog kaysa sa nararapat. At naman itong mga nangyayari kalamidad sa araw-araw ay magbigay sa amin ng aral na kailangan kami maganda. Hindi dahil lang ito yung mga tanda ng yung pagtitingayin Panginoon, kundi rin kung kami mawala ng buhay dahil sa mga kalamidad, dahil sa mga lindol, kami nakahanda na harapin namin ang aming mga kamatay sapag kami nanda namin sa pagsunod ng iyong kalooban. Inaasam po namin ang pagdating namin, Panginoon, para dali na kami sa langit at maiwas na kami sa mga kapigatian at pagkasakitan, paghihirap, kamatayan sa mundong ito. Muli po, dinadalangin namin ang aming mga namamahala sa pamahalaan na maging malinis ang kailang pamamahala at matuwid para may lalo pong mapanatili kapayapaan kaisa sa aming bayan. Dinadalangin po namin lahat ng mga kapatid sa ibang mga lugar na tumutulong po sa mga gawain sa Pilipinas para sa ikaunlad ng Ebanghelyo. At ang mga bagay po ito ay aming hiningi at pinagpapasalamat sa dakilang pangalan sa Kristo. Amen. Ay salamat po mga kapatid. Ingat po tayo. Pero ang pag-aahanda ay araw-araw. God bless.